This is some pretty cool videos right here. That was an impressive moose sound that you made. I was impressed. That's my knockout punch. I'm surprised more people haven't commented on that clay pigeon throwing because it was really sweet.
I know. I think this is cool.
All right, we're out here at the Camp Kearney Disc Golf Course. We've got the new Skygod 3 from Simon Lizotte. It's a P2, it's color glow, it's really overstable. We're gonna play a whole round out here, see how we do. Aaron, you wanna give us a preview of the course?
Sure, so we have a 9-hole course out here on our property. It's about 2,800 feet on the 9 holes, par 30. So we have 1 par 5 and 1 par 4. So starting out on hole 1 is actually back here by where the car is at. This is about 240 feet for hole 1.
Nice drop.
So
Thanks, I was impressed.
Well, before we do that, what's the purpose? Like, what do you mean the property? What
Is that
is
a
this?
stroke?
Where are we at?
we're at Camp Kearney right now. It's a Ministry of Southside Mission located in central Illinois. And we are actually a free summer camp for inner city kids in Peoria. So these baskets were donated to us by Andrew to install a course here that we can kind of use it to help teach disc golf to some of the kids that come out to camp, as well as just having a nice course on our property. So it's been a ton of fun so far. A lot of natural OB that we play when we're out here just kind of goofing around. So are we playing that this round or not?
I feel like with these, we probably should just not play OB.
All right, except for the water.
Water's
I
still
feel like that's
needed.
short. That's a little bit of foreshadowing right there about talking about the water
Par
being OB.
30, what's your prediction? What do
You're
you
right.
I'm gonna shoot a 30.
I'm gonna shoot a 27.
Doubt it.
We'll see.
So I put this in here just so we could show Drew Gibson has the course record at a 21. Course is a little bit more difficult than it was when it was 21, but I bet he'd still shoot that even with the course being a little harder.
Yeah, I agree. He had a couple holes that he probably could have had a much better drive on, but 21's still hard to get.
Look at that, 57 miles an hour. That's impressive.
Mediocre at best.
Inside the circle. It's all that matters.
In case you're wondering, I'm throwing a Skygod 3 on hole 1, my disc of choice.
That's interesting that you would throw the Skygod 3 during the Skygod 3 challenge.
Right? Look at that, 55. I'm 2 miles per hour slower. Let's see where I end up. That's like 3 feet short of where you're at.
Putting with a Skygod 3 today.
Didn't you realize the Skygod works as a driver and a putter?
I mean, judging by these 2 video angles, I would say so.
Look, that is smooth. There is no wobble on that at all.
I think the thing that's
Right,
most impressive here is just the drone flyovers. They're like super shaky. All right, so we're tied after 1. Now, going into hole 2, you ever have a moment where you've done something you've done a million times before, and then all of a sudden you just completely forget how to do it, and like it's like your first time ever? That was this throw.
Yeah, that was bad. This is a cool camera angle for it, though.
Directly into the water. You even hear it kerplunk.
And I'm watching you thinking like, oh, this is my chance. I'm watching you throw it in there and think like, this is my chance. I get a stroke here, and then just let it slip right out of my hand.
I was really surprised yours did not go in the water. I was really lucky.
There's a lot more room over on the left side over by the bridge. But I wasn't safe by much. And it's hard to tell in the video, but that's a pretty steep upslope. So the footing was really funny, and I kind of had to go around a branch sticking out, but would have been a miracle putt regardless. Still ended up with a stroke.
This is one of the holes that I had mentioned before has changed since Drew played the course. So this, what is it, like 80 to 100 feet further now? And it's a raised basket?
380 feet now instead of 268. So quite a bit longer, elevated basket, a little bit more of a tricky angle.
Playing it conservative with the 56. I like it. And so that would have basically been a drop in on the old basket.
Yep. 64 is really impressive for throwing a putter. You murdered this, but turned it over slightly. I'm just in a nice, easy layup zone here.
Almost put it in.
And didn't realize how glidey the Skygod can be. It is an overstable putter, but I kind of expected it to drop faster than it did.
We'll see that a little bit later. That was a pretty good putt right there. But we'll see that a little bit later with, I think I throw one faster than 64, and I even turn it over out of the hand and it still fades out. So it can take, really, really high-end speed.
Yeah, it definitely can. Like I was saying before, the thing I've noticed about it is it doesn't fall out of the sky super fast. It has like a glidey overstable, so it works like perfectly for a overstable driving putter.
I like if you saw this
hole's a little bit of a tricky hole.
The still shot of the tee there, the water was so smooth, and then during the flyover, it was ripping.
You're right.
Look how smooth the water is there.
This hole's super fun hole. It's a little tricky because, if you want to go for the basket, you're throwing over top of water the entire way, but there is a safe layup zone next to it. If I remember right, we both were pretty close to putting this in on our drives. Like, maybe a clipped metal or just missed metal, but
we don't have a telephoto lens, so I just set up the camera with the side angle there, so we did a little bit of a time lapse. But drop in 2s.
Where that camera was sitting is like the perfect layup zone if you don't want to throw for the basket. But with Skygods, you just got to go for it.
A little bit of a sheltered green there. This was amazing drone piloting right here.
There we go. In order to get it up to the basket, you got to go right inside this window of like pretty low hanging pine branches. So you can even see on that throw, I forced it over a little bit and it still fought out and was pretty glidey. So I went pretty deep in the basket.
I think the key here is that you threw 51. I believe I threw 50. We'll see it. Yeah, so I threw 50, and that 1 mile per hour made all the difference in the world.
You also clipped that branch hard, actually.
I don't think that had anything to do with it. I think if it didn't hit that branch, it would have been in the basket.
Oh, and then I didn't even give that a chance.
Would you say this is where you start to fall apart on the round?
I can say that this is where the holes get very difficult for a Skygod.
So here we're teeing off from where you see the car at the very bottom of the screen, and the basket you can just barely see it at the very top of the screen.
Pretty hard dogleg left. Couple trees. The ideal route is just throwing it really close to the tree off the tee with a lot of elevation. That tree kind of right in the middle of the screen with a lot of elevation, and get it to glide over to the basket.
Preferably a driver instead of a putter.
You're right.
I don't know if anyone could get a putter that far left. I think because the harder you throw it, the more the putter's going to want to try to keep right. I was really impressed with this out.
Yeah, you were in some pretty thick branches there.
So the other thing that I want, this almost goes in. That was really close. The other thing I want to point out, this was the first time of me flying this drone on a course. Look at this sweet shot too. The first time flying the drone on the course. So a lot of it's really shaky. There was also a ton of wind when you saw earlier flying over the water. There was a ton of wind, so it's just hard to keep it steady. But we'll redo that with some correct lighting and stuff and have some better drone shots. So again here, teeing off from where you see the gator there, and the basket is all the way in the top of the field there. So this is the first landing zone.
To get into that landing zone, you only have to throw about 250 feet.
Or you can throw 400. It's a pretty big landing zone.
You're right.
But then to get to the basket from that first landing zone, you would need about 550 to get all the way there on a just hyzer. All right, so that was 63. That was a pretty hard throw. You see it still just faded out at the end. You'll see that on the catch cam here. So those things are beefy. Even if you're throwing into a headwind, I don't think you're going to turn one over unless you grip lock it like this.
Yeah, that was really bad. This is why I don't throw putters as hard as I can. But I actually didn't end up in the worst spot I possibly could.
This would have been a really good recovery shot if the Skygod 3 was not so overstable.
Yeah, I put a lot of angle
out of your
on
hand.
I put a lot of angle on that, and it fought back hard. I was trying to get it to, pan out flat and land in that field, but stuck it in that tree. So.
And there's absolutely nothing, because you can barely move your arm when you're inside of this stuff.
Yep.
So that's where my second shot landed. If I was the first shot, I was in about the perfect spot, but then that second shot, you need a full power driver if you want to have a chance at the Eagle 3.
This is another example of it just being super glidey. It doesn't fall as fast as you expect it to for an overstable putter, but I kind of like it as far as the driving goes. You can, obviously, if I try to crush it, I grip lock it. But, keeping it around that 55, 56 mile per hour, I'm getting some really good flights out of it. And even a 5 on that hole, the Skygod isn't terrible.
This was another change. The pad used to be right in the middle of this path, and it was moved over to the left because you're going to be adding concrete tee pads out here. When do you think that's going to happen?
It'll happen this summer. So, not too long from now, but we moved this over so we can kind of get a feel for it and start working the fairway. But this is kind of a unique shot because the perfect line to the basket is a putter shot, but it's more of like a hyzer flip putter. This was a super lucky shot. I was pretty annoyed with that. But a hyzer flip putter shot, and you can't really crush it because it's significantly downhill. So you'll cruise way, way downhill if you're not careful.
So that one you only threw 47, and you were, 60, 70 feet long, only throwing that 47 miles an hour?
Yep, it goes downhill the entire way to the basket, and then you can see how downhill it gets just behind us there.
So it was at this point when you probably realized you weren't coming back.
Yeah. I'm playing better than I expected to with just a Skygod, though, so, I can't be too upset.
And this, as we get to the basket, you'll see my drone flying skills right here.
Oops. This hole is, again, it's right at 400 feet, so you're going to want to throw a crush on this, obviously with a 65.
So there you saw I turned that directly over into the woods, clipped that tree, and ended up in the middle of the fairway. Yeah,
it was ridiculous. I threw the best drive I could possibly throw on this hole. And it was beautiful.
Just a nice, easy upshot to get the 3.
This is kind of a unique hole because with it being 400 feet and wanting to, throw a crush to get to the basket, that telephone pole is right in the exact line that you want to throw. So it kind of makes you be pretty picky about what angle and what disc you want to throw if you want to try to get a 2 on it.
You lucked out on that 3. I thought you were deep in the woods.
I agree, that was pretty lucky.
Yeah, we both thought you were way deep.
We just finished the round. I ended up shooting a 25, which is better than typically for me out here.
You see so many gnats in this picture.
I know.
27.
It's kind of disgusting.
So, I don't know. That's kind of a lesson. I actually shot better with only a premium putter.
I shot a 27, which my average out here, I probably put close to 100 rounds out here, and my average is actually 26 and a half according to UDisc. So 27 I'm feeling pretty solid about. Again, like Andrew said, it's a lesson that you don't always need a distance driver and try to crush it as hard as you can. Sometimes smooth putter shots will get you the same results. So this round definitely forced me to focus on form and release points and release angles to actually try to hit fairways. So this point in the year, this course is actually pretty overgrown, and it's hard to hit some of the lines. So these fly really nice. I'm really impressed with them.
They definitely have an overstable finish. You can throw them about as hard as you want. I was throwing them 65 a couple of times, and they definitely do not turn at all. Even throwing 65 miles an hour, they just kind of go straight, and then they still fade out a little bit at the end.
Yeah, the only time you're going to get any right movement on it is you can tell as you screw up your form. Like on hole 7, I flipped it over, but I rolled my hand, and it went way right, and bad result, but they fly pretty true.
So it was a fun round. It's a good course out here. It's a good disc. Go get you some.
See ya.
So here's the final scorecard. Shot a 25, which is actually beating my typical round where I use my entire bag. And that was just with a single overstable P2.
Yeah, like I said, that outro is a 26 and a half. So the 27, I was pretty impressed. 3 strokes better than my final score would be. You know, I can tell with throwing a putter where my form is screwed up, and I know what I need to do to fix it. So I really enjoyed doing this round here. And ever since we've done this, I've actually come back out with, you know, just throwing a mid-range or just throwing a different type of putter and just working on, like I said, release points, release angles, hitting fairways. Because if you're off the fairway on this course, you can get in trouble pretty quick.
So we've got other challenge videos for this course. There's one on your channel. There's one on my channel. We're going to do plenty more in the future. Hopefully the commentary was enjoyable. We'll see what the people say.
Yeah, thanks for doing the challenge and bringing the discs and having the idea and all of that. It was a good time.